Hello everyone, Dillykins and welcome to the Dillykin 2 channel. And if you guys are a little bit newer to the channel, and also if you guys haven't really been watching me over on my Twitch channel, I've been actually playing a lot of WoW lately. In today's video, we actually going to be doing the history of the World of Warcraft expanded in 1 hour video. I do know some of the World of Warcraft lore actually, but I actually was thinking, it's like, I think I just need a little bit more of like a refresher. So we actually do got a video. It's gonna be a lengthy one. Now this is not the first WoW content on the channel, but if you guys do know, I did manage to do a World of Warcraft trial list. There is a link like right up there, so make sure you guys and check that out. So here we go, chat. Here we go.
World of Warcraft is one of the most popular and successful fantasy worlds of all time. And a significant reason for this success is the lore and the storytelling within the game. In fact, the world is so full of that lore that sometimes it can be a bit overwhelming. So for that reason, the aim of this video is to provide a summary of the lore behind the World of Warcraft up to the beginning of the World Soul Saga. We'll cover stories from the origins of the universe, the Great Sundering and the War of the Ancients, all the way to significant events like the fall of the Lich King and the rediscovery of the Dragon Isles. So
I think whenever we get into like the Dragon Isles part is gonna be a little bit more in the lore part.
For many
I haven't
of us,
really
the story of World of Warcraft
did
begins in the 25th
Dragon
year
Blight,
on the universe's timeline, when us adventurers were unleashed across Azeroth. For others, it started on the very first year of the timeline, when the Orcish Horde travelled through the Dark Portal and raided the Kingdom of Stormwind. However, as we know, this wasn't the beginning of the Warcraft story. With the timeline split into 2 sections, the period of time before the Dark Portal and then the period after the Dark Portal, there are hundreds of thousands of years of lore, predating the modern events that us adventurers have experienced.
I'm gonna pause it right here, and if you guys have read the World of Warcraft Chronicle books, you guys will get like a crap ton of lore that actually leads up. I think Chronicle Book 3 only leads up to Cataclysm. Still waiting for Volume 4 though. Sorry, let's continue.
So, on that note, let's start at the very beginning, the origins of the universe. The Warcraft universe can be explained using this diagram, which illustrates all cosmic forces and the entities born from them within the game. Here we need to focus on 2 primary energies, the light and the void. Initially, light expanded throughout the endless universe. As it spread, pockets of nothingness formed, giving rise to its opposite, the void, which sought to consume the light. Their cosmic battle caused catastrophic explosions, leading to the formation of the Warcraft universe, the Great Dark Beyond. As these energies clashed, matter merged into primordial worlds. The most unstable of these energies created the Twisting Nether, an astral dimension linked to the Great Dark Beyond, but existing outside of the physical universe. Alongside this, shards of light scattered across the Great Dark Beyond and spread life across these newly formed planets. Some of the first life forms created were elemental beings of fire, water, earth, and air. Occasionally, light shards formed powerful beings like the Naru, who used holy magic to nurture life. And even more extraordinary,
basically
light
like
would coalesce into beings known as the Titans,
the gods,
whose
basically,
spirits, called world souls, formed within the cores of certain planets. These Titans slumbered for ages, their energies spreading across their planets. Some of these Titans eventually awoke as celestial beings, with the first, Aman'Thul, driven by a belief that more of his kind existed. He searched the Great Dark Beyond and successfully found other Titan world souls. Once more Titans had risen from their slumbering state, together they formed the Pantheon, a group of Titans dedicated to shaping worlds, overseeing the universe, and seeking out more Titan world souls. However, as we know, where there is light, there is also darkness. From the very moment the cosmos began, dark spirits known as the Void Lords sought to twist reality into eternal torment. Envious of the Pantheon and their abilities, the Void Lords aimed to corrupt a Titan. Unable to manifest physically in the Great Dark Beyond, their energies warped some of the new life forms throughout the universe. Targeting slumbering Titans, the Void Lords hurled dark creatures
and
hoping
Nuzolf
to hit a world soul. These creatures became known as the Old Gods, The Titans were aware of these void energies, but not of the Void Lords or the Old Gods, and they were more focused on a more important and sinister threat forming in the universe, the demons in the Twisting Nether, who were set on destroying all life. These demons, fueled by their furious passions, recklessly explored their powers. Many indulged in fell magic, breaching the physical universe and wreaking havoc on mortal worlds. These demons took various forms, from two-headed void hounds to monstrous infernals, mindless fusions of matter and fell energy. Among the more cunning demons were the Nathrezim, also known as Dreadlords from the Shadowlands, a hellish realm that existed alongside the physical universe, and a place for the souls of the dead who had passed on from the world of the living. We will come back to the Shadowlands later in this tale. These masters of shadow magic, the Nathrezim, could cross the barrier into the worlds of the Great Dark Beyond, and they began infiltrating mortal societies, sowing discord and transforming innocents into demons. The Pantheon, aware of these demonic invasions, feared that they would interfere with their mission to find and awaken other world souls, so they sent their greatest warrior, Sargeras, to purge the universe of demonic influence.
I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys know this guy's
Sargeras
gonna be a
ventured into the Great
bitch
Dark,
later.
witnessing civilizations destroyed and inhabitants turned into the aberrations by the Twisting Nether. Despite their vast numbers, the disorganized demons were no match for the Titan, and he slaughtered countless foes on his divine mission. He discovered some demons wielded void energies, revealing the existence of the Void Lords and the corruption they were capable of. Troubled by this news, he continued on with his war, allowing the Pantheon to continue their search for nascent Titans. Realizing demons were reborn in the Twisting Nether after death, Sargeras created the prison Mardum to contain them permanently. With Agramar's assistance, they fought demons for millennia. Sargeras discovered a world consumed by void energies, where old gods had corrupted a slumbering titan. Learning from the Nathrezim, the Void Lords aimed to corrupt the titan into an unstoppable force. Sargeras, in fear and rage, destroyed the world and the nascent titan within it to prevent its corruption. Returning to the Pantheon, Sargeras faced criticism for his
I think that photo's from the
They
Chronicle
believed the Titan
book
could have been
1,
saved, but
actually.
Sargeras, fearing void corruption, suggested that destroying all creation to stop the Void Lords was the only answer. Even Agramar, who had been helping him, opposed him, urging a different solution. Feeling betrayed by the other Titans, Sargeras left the Pantheon, choosing a path of destruction to save the universe from the void. Azeroth's world soul began to develop, and elemental spirits of fire, earth, air and water waged apocalyptic battles on its surface. Each element was ruled by a powerful lord, Alakia, Ragnaros, Therizane,
Ragnaros.
who all struggled for dominance
Ragnaros.
in a chaotic cycle. The old gods, Yasharaj, Cthulhu, Yogg-Saron and N'Zoth arrived on
Killed. Haven't seen. Well, in BFA, we will kill N'Zoth, but we actually have no idea what to speak about. But I'm pretty sure this Olgard has been killed, like, long ago before N'Zoth, Cthulhu, and Yogg-Saron has been killed, but yeah, who knows. The funny thing is that we only have, if this Olgard is still alive, we only got one Olgard left. But who knows, we may be able to see like a presence of him in the War Within. Who knows?
the planet and corrupted Azeroth. They set about their task by creating the Faceless Ones and the Akia. They built the Black Empire and enslaved the Elemental Lords, causing endless suffering on the planet while aiming to corrupt Azeroth's slumbering world soul.
That's Oldrum for the people that doesn't know.
Created Titan-forged constructs known as the Keepers to restore the Order. Amanthal empowered the High Keeper Ra and Keeper Odin. Khaz'goroth
We have
gave
seen
the
them
skills
in
to Keeper Arcadus. Golganeth granted Storm Dominion to Keepers
Storm
Thorium
Peaks.
and Hodir. Ionar gave Keeper Freyr control
Back
of
in
Azeroth's flora and fauna.
after the Lich King.
Morganon shared his intellect with Keepers Lokin and Mimiron, and Agramar imparted strength and courage to the Keeper Tyr, the greatest warrior among them. Together they crafted the Forge of Wills and the Forge of Origination to stabilize Azeroth, creating new life forms and reshaping the world. The Keepers then used the forges to create the Titan Forged, and with their new armies they launched a successful campaign against the old gods and their minion. The Keepers and the Titan Forged launched a successful campaign against the old gods and their minions, imprisoning the elemental lords. But when the Titans attacked Yasharaj, they discovered a grim fact. Aman'Thul reached down through the skies of Azeroth and heaved the old god, Yasharaj, from the planet. But by doing so, he inadvertently ripped open a wound in Azeroth's surface, and the World Soul's arcane lifeblood flowed to the surface. It was then that the Pantheon realised that the old gods had embedded themselves so deep that they could not be slain without destroying Azeroth itself, and instead they resolved to imprison the remaining 3 old gods, rather than killing them outright. Once the old gods had been imprisoned, together they managed to stabilise Azeroth's wound, transforming it into the Well of Eternity, a lake of scintillating arcane energies and limitless power that would accelerate growth of life.
So crazy. Yeah, that photo is what
had been defeated. Its corruption,
all of the continents used to look like before they got separated. Like we do know now.
Beings and set up new sanctuaries, including Ulduar and Uldum, to maintain balance and oversee the world. Despite their best efforts, not all life forming on the planet would be peaceful. A proto-dragon named Galakrond became a threat. Galakrond was defeated by the forces of other proto-dragons, and the Titan Keepers chose 5 of them to empower Alexstrasza, Neltharion, Malygos, Ysera and Nozdormu, turning them into the dragon aspects to protect Azeroth. They were supported by the newly created Dragonflights, and they settled in Wyrmrest Temple. The Keeper Odin, angered by being sidelined, created the Halls of Valor and the Valkyr. He then created an elite of Vrykul army to protect Azeroth, but by doing so created deep resentment and further conflicts. After severing ties with the Pantheon, Sargeras isolated himself, consumed by the fear that the Void Lords had corrupted other Titan world souls. He concluded that the universe was irredeemable, and resolved to destroy all creation to stop the Void Lords, beginning the Burning Crusade. Sargeras sought power from Mardum, the plane of banishment that he had created millennia ago, filled with fell energy and demons. By shattering Mardum's prison, he unleashed fell energy that transformed him into a being of pure hatred. This act tore the veil between the great dark beyond and the twisting nether, flooding the universe with demons. These demons, united under Sargeras, formed the Burning Legion. The Legion's first target was a Titan-shaped world, and they devastated its civilizations. When the Constellar overseeing the world arrived, Sargeras killed it. Agramar confronted Sargeras, demanding an explanation. Sargeras declared his plan to purify the universe through complete destruction. Agramar challenged him, but despite fighting valiantly, he was outmatched by Sargeras' fell magic. Wounded, Agramar retreated to the Pantheon. The Titans, shocked by Sargeras' betrayal, prepared to confront him. The Pantheon and Sargeras battled near a planet named Nihilum, and they struggled against Sargeras' fell-fueled might. Sargeras then unleashed a fell storm to destroy them, but Norgannon used arcane energies to protect the Titans' spirits, launching their spirits into the great dark beyond as their physical forms were obliterated by Sargeras. Believing he had won, Sargeras turned his attention to finding and conquering Azeroth before the Void Lords could. After defeating the Pantheon, Sargeras sought to strengthen his demon army, realizing their lack of strategic thinking as a weakness. To address this issue, he identified a race known as the Eridar, who were native to the planet Argus, as ideal beings to be his commanders. The Eridar, led by Archimonde, Kil'jaeden, and Velen, were hyper-intelligent beings. Sargeras, disguised as a radiant being, promised them knowledge, power, and the chance to transform worlds into peaceful sanctuaries. Archimonde and Kil'jaeden were enticed, but Velen, using an ancient artifact, foresaw a horrific future where the Eridar became demonic. Velen warned his peers, but they dismissed his concerns and accepted Sargeras' offer. Pretending to agree, Velen secretly planned an escape. The benevolent Naru aided Velen and his followers who fled Argus, and with that they became the Draenei, or the Exiled Ones.
I'm pretty sure we will get... We haven't really got to like the Warlords of Draenor area. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure we will study this in Warlords of Draenor.
Under their command, the Legion grew, recruiting new demonic races from the twisting nether.
I will be wrong, but who knows?
With strengthened forces, Sargeras renewed his burning crusade, leading the Legion to destroy countless worlds and civilizations over the ages. Back on Azeroth, The Keeper Loken, who had now been corrupted by the influence of Yogg-Saron, helped the old god spread the curse of flesh among the Titanforged and waged war against his fellow keepers. He sabotaged Mimiron and betrayed the other keepers, leading to the exile of the Titanforged and then the rise of new mortal races on the continent of Kalimdor on Azeroth. One of those first early races would be the Trolls. The Trolls settled in southern Kalimdor and established Zuldazar around 16,000 years ago. Over time,
I remember like reading the Chronicle Book 1, like there's a lot of trolls that actually represents like the gang members LA actually.
Who attacked the Trolls with an ancient Black Empire race, the Akia. In response, the Trolls formed the Empire of Zul and drove the Akia
is like
away.
the
Though they continued to remain ever vigilant against future threats. Around 15,000 years ago, the Mogu, protectors of the Veil of Eternal Blossoms, faced internal strife due to the Curse of Flesh. Lei Shen, known as the Thunder King, unified them through fear and power, creating a brutal
the Emperor for like Pandoria.
The Pandaren. After Lei Shen's fall, the Mogu Empire began to decline. The final emperor, Lao Fei, was eventually overthrown by a Pandaren-led rebellion, ushering a new era of peace for those races. The bovine race, the Yonggol, guided by Cenarius, were captured and transformed by the Mogu. They later rebelled and, divided by their past, migrated.
They're supposed to be like the Taurens, basically.
Continued as Yonggol, while those who moved to central Kalimdor became known as the Tauren, and those who moved near the Forge of Wills became the Taunka. Over time, their ancient connections and shared heritage gradually faded. Before the conflicts with the Akia, troll tribes like the Gurubashi and the Omani fought over Kalimdor's vast territories. Among these tribes, dark trolls dwelled in the shadows beneath Mount Hyjal. Eventually they would evolve into night elves after discovering and settling by the Well of Eternity. The energy of the well transformed them into immortal beings with advanced magical abilities. The night elves built their society around the well, with their capital, Alundris, flourishing under the guidance of the demigod Cenarius. Under Queen Azshara's rule, the night elves expanded their empire and constructed grand cities. As the night elves became more obsessed with magic, their society grew xenophobic and hostile. They managed to suppress troll incursions through their magical superiority. The Night Elves' deepening obsession with the Well of Eternity led to magical disturbances that caught the attention of Sargeras himself, and the Burning Legion began preparing to invade Azeroth. The Highborn, a caste of Night Elves led by Queen Azshara, secretly allied with Sargeras, who promised them power in exchange for summoning demons. Queen Azshara used the Well of Eternity to bring forth the Burning Legion, and she summoned them to Azeroth. Led by Manaroth and Archimonde, the Burning Legion arrived and began to ravage the Night Elf Empire and Azeroth, starting the War of the Ancients. A resistance formed, led by Lord Ravencrest, Malfurion Stormrage, Illidan Stormrage, and Tyrande Whisperwind. Malfurion's druidic powers, Illidan's bravery, and Tyranda's leadership made significant impacts against the Burning Legion. They sought aid from Cenarius and the wild gods of Azeroth, but time was short. To help their forces in the War of the Ancients, Malfurion also sought help from the dragon aspects. Alexstrasza and the others met at Wyrmrest Temple, where Neltharion proposed using the Dragon Soul, an enchanted artifact with the power of the dragons infused into it, to defeat the Burning Legion. Unbeknownst to the others, Neltharion was corrupted by the Old Gods, and using his weapon, later renamed as the Demon Soul, led him to betray his allies. He decimated the Burning Legion, but then also attacked the Night Elves and the dragons, nearly wiping out the Dragonflight entirely and forcing the Night Elves to retreat.
He literally killed everyone.
Deathwing fled, leaving his black dragonflight nearly extinct. Deathwing's betrayal during the War of the Ancient devastated the Night Elves, and then Illidan's mysterious disappearance only added to their despair. In reality, Illidan had deserted the Resistance. His rivalry with his brother Malfurion, rejection by Tyrande Whisperwind, and manipulation by the Satyr, Xavius, drove him to seek power with the Legion. Illidan turned to Sargeras, who granted him great power, marked him with fell tattoos, and burned out his eyes. Armed with these new abilities,
I've never seen that cutscene before.
Dragon Soul. Illidan succeeded, delivering the Dragon Soul to the Highborn, who used it to open a gateway for Sargeras to enter Azeroth. Despite claiming he joined the Legion to understand and defeat them, Illidan's betrayal and ambition forever tainted his legacy. Highborn sorcerers in Suramar, led
Yeah,
by the
and there
Grand
was-
Magistrix, discovered
and there
the
was some
Legion's
that
plan
cutscene
to use
before.
Suramar as a base. They sabotaged the Legion, protected Suramar with the Nightwell, and then became the Nightborn. Under their new leader, Jared Shadowsong, the Night Elf resistance allied with other races and launched a desperate assault on Zinajari. Malfurion, Tyrande and their allies destroyed the Well of Eternity to drive back Sargeras. The destruction of the Well of
As the,
Eternity caused a cataclysmic
dungeon.
explosion known as the Great Sundering, and it completely destroyed the supercontinent known as Kalimdor. The continent fragmented into several landmasses and created the Maelstrom at the centre of Azeroth. The Great Sundering destroyed the Well of Eternity, leading
Minutes
the
to get some
Night Elves
snacks.
to abandon arcane magic. They retreated to Mount Hyjal, where Illidan Stormrage created a new well using remnants of the old one. Malfurion Stormrage opposed him, fearing it could invite the Legion back, and with
I'm looking
Cenarius'
at
help,
OBS
they
to
imprisoned
make
Illidan.
sure that
The Dragon
you know
aspects,
the apples.
Alexstrasza, Ysera, and Nosdormu sealed the new well with
Guess
a
I can't
ward
open
from
them.
Nordrassil, granting the Night Elves immortality and protection from the demons. The Night Elves, under Tyrande Whisperwind and Malfurion Stormrage, later faced a resurgence of demons that had been left on Azeroth after the War of the Ancients. They were known as the Satyrs, and they were led by Zalon the Feared. Chandris Feathermoon proposed using druids in battle to defeat the Satyrs, and this led to a successful counterattack. However, a faction of these druids turned
maybe
into
also
uncontrollable
the
wargame. Malfurion established the Cenarian Circle to manage druidic
Nightmare
practices and contain the wargame
dream
threat.
must-
The combined efforts of the Night Elves led to the defeat of the Satyrs. The Highborn, unable to resist arcane magic, were exiled by the Night Elves. Led by Dathramar Sunstrider, they settled in the Eastern Kingdoms, discovering the Sunwell and founding the Kingdom of Quel'Thalas. Their new civilization,
them as
though
hard
prosperous, faced threats from
and
hostile
all of what-
trolls. The Highborn in Northrend, struggling without arcane power, stole crystallization techniques from blue dragons. Their experiments backfired, crystallizing Moonsong Forest and creating the haunted Crystalsong Forest. The druids of the Cenarian Circle, led by Fandral Staghelm, planted world trees to combat old god corruption. Andrasil in Northrend initially thrived, but was corrupted by Yogg-Saron, leading to its destruction and the creation of the Emerald Nightmare. Sometime later, the exiled mechagnomes living in Uldaman transformed into the gnomes by the Curse of Flesh, and they left the halls of Uldaman and established settlements in Doom Morrow. They developed a society centered around technology and began losing their memory of their ancient origins.
If anyone remember back when we did the raid of Uldrum, when we was talking about the Coast of Freds, like I said,
The haunted Crystalsong Forest. The druids
everything was like in stone, and then
of the Cenarian
the
Circle,
Coast of
led
Freds
by
kind of made
Fandral Staghelm,
everything.
planted
I'm pretty sure it was probably with Deepholm, but I'm pretty sure it was when we actually did the raid for Uldrum to start up for like the Cataclysms, Lore Master actually. I know it's really unfair for me to eat snacks, but it's a long video, chat. We are literally 19 minutes into the video, and I'm trying to figure out that where that photo at. Like, that's what the Coast of Flesh was. Like, a lot of people did not like to be close with this flesh, with like with the flesh, because it was like a plague basically. But it's like really normal for everyone.
And established settlements in
It is that like I said, everything was like in stone, and then like the Coast of Flesh to make it look like humans basically, because a lot of the Mendigomes did not wanted to have this course, and they was like really against it, but there was really nothing they could have done about it.
in Doom Morrow. They developed a
It was literally was like
society
a
centered around technology
sickness.
began losing their memory of their ancient origins. 200 years after this, human tribes in the Eastern Kingdoms unified under the warlord Thoradin to form the nation of Arathor, establishing a capital in Lordaeron known as Strom. Thoradin fortified the kingdom and repelled troll incursions, helping the elves of Quel'Thalas secure a period of peace in the northern lands. The Amani trolls, aided by the Zandalari and the Loa, launched several attacks on the High Elves. Arathor, led by Thoradin, intervened, and using a strategic trap and magical support, they decisively defeated the trolls. marking a new era of cooperation between Quel'Thalas and Arathor. Following Thoradin's reign, Arathor expanded into new territories, including Lordaeron and Gilneas. The city of Dalaran emerged as a major hub of magical study for the humans and eventually became an autonomous city-state facing tensions over its magic use. Dalaran, under threat from demonic infiltration, formed the Council of Tirisfal to combat these threats secretly. The council empowered a chosen champion known as the Guardian to protect Azeroth from demons, with Aladai being the first Guardian. Aladai, the first Guardian of Tirisfal, successfully defended against a demonic invasion and set a precedent for future Guardians. This system ensured a period of stability and peace, while Dalaran continued as a centre of arcane knowledge. Further south, in Uldaman, the last Mechanome activated the hibernation chambers, awakening the Earthen, who had been transformed into the Dwarves after facing the Curse of Flesh. Settling in Doomora, they established Ironforge and formed an alliance with the Gnomes, exchanging skills in stoneworking and engineering. 1,000 years later, even more south, the Gurubashi trolls, suffering from famine and the Sundering, summoned Hakar the Soulflayer, who demanded blood sacrifices in return for aid. Led by the Hakari, Gurubashi trolls who worshipped Hakar,
basically like the blood trolls, basically.
But by doing so, they caught the attention of the Zandalari trolls. The Zandalari allied with dissenting Gurubashi trolls, and they defeated Hakar and his followers Azul Garub. Some fanatical Hakari, known as the Atalai, escaped, continuing their dark rituals in the Swamp of Sorrows, until Ysera sank their temple and stationed dragons to prevent Hakar's return. Back in Kalimdor, a night elven civilization known as the Chendrala were survivors of Queen Azara's regime, and they were living in isolation in a city known as Eldrathalos. To combat their declining power, Prince Tortheldrin bound a demon, Imulthar, to the city for energy. The arrangement became unsustainable, leading Tortheldrin to kill his people to reduce the strain on the energy gained from the demon. Eldrathalos fell into decay and was overrun by jungle creatures, leaving the Chendrala considerably weakened. The city would go on to be known as Dire Maul. At the same time, in the Eastern Kingdoms, Arathor was fragmenting as city-states started to emerge. Kultiras prospered as a naval power, while Gilneas built strong land forces in the east. Gilneas and Alterac fortified borders, forging alliances with the Dwarves and the Gnomes. Strom's nobles founded a northern state known as Lordaeron, which grew to be a spiritual centre. The remnants of Strom headed south and founded Stormwind. Stromgarde, once grand, became a shadow of its former self, and Arathor's unity was deteriorating as the Seven Kingdoms were forming. 100 years later in Kalimdor, Torrent Shaman accidentally awoke Princess Theradrus in their sacred lands, causing ecological devastation, transforming their sacred lands of Mashan-Shi into Desolus. Her union with Zeta produced the Centaur, a terrifying race of half-human, half-horse who terrorized the center of Kalimdor. Zeta was killed by his offspring, and Theradrus buried his spirit in Maradon.
Look at his bloody ass teeth, man.
With the Torrent, resulting in a period of prolonged warfare. Another 100 years later, the War of the Shifting Sands begins. The Karaji, an ancient insectoid race, were awakened by Archdruid Fandral Staghelm's efforts in Silithus. The Karaji, led by the old god Cthulhu, attacked the Night Elves, initiating the War of the Shifting Sands. Despite fierce battles across Kalimdor, the Karaji were sealed within Ahn'Qiraj by the Scarab Wall. Guardian Aegwynn, a powerful protector of Azeroth, distrusted the Tirisfal Council and isolated herself in Suramar. She defeated Sargeras' avatar, but unknowingly absorbed a fragment of him. She sealed the demon's remains in Suramar's ruins, hoping to contain the evil indefinitely. Aegwynn then built the Tower of Karazhan and used it to isolate herself. Her paranoia and isolation
I did learn this
the council
in
to form the Tirisgard to
the volume
neutralize her.
1
Aegwynn
book.
sealed herself away in Karazhan, maintaining her powers in secret. 300 years later, in Ironforge, tensions between the Bronzebeards, the Wildhammers and the Dark Iron clans erupted into civil war after High King Modimus Anvilmar's death. The Bronzebeards triumphed, forcing the others to flee. Thorisan's failed revenge attack led to the summoning of Ragnaros, causing massive destruction. The surviving clans formed an alliance, marking the Thandor span as a symbol of their unity. In the 100th year before the Dark Portal, the Kingdom of Stormwind, despite Gnoll raids, was prospering and became a haven for displaced people in the southern eastern kingdoms. King Barathon Rin defeated the Gnoll Packlord Garfang, ending the threat and securing Stormwind's independence. The victory reinforced
This is
Stormwind's
kind of where the
self-reliance
Chronicle
and
Book
ensured future
1
stability.
ends at, like
Going
right
back to
here.
the story of the last Guardian, Aegrin, hiding from the Tirisfal Council, fell in love with Nyla Saran and had a son named Medivh, with immense magical potential and a hidden Sargeras curse. Sometime later, Medivh's powers erupted, killing his father and putting himself into a coma. He later awakened to find his friends in prominent positions, unaware of the dark influence within him. In the moments leading up to the Dark Portal, on a distant planet known as Draenor, the normally honourable race known as the
This
Orcs,
is
who
where
had been
Chronicle
peacefully
Book 2
coexisting
will
with the
kind of lead
Draenei,
in.
began to slowly succumb to the manipulations of Sargeras and his Burning Legion. An outcast Orc known as Gul'dan accepted fell magic from Kil'jaeden and became the first Orc Warlock. Deceived by Kil'jaeden, one of their prominent leaders, an Orc known as Ner'zhul, led the Orc clans to unite against the Draenei, forming the Orcish Horde. Under Gul'dan's influence, the mighty warrior Black Hand became the Horde's war chief, and many Orcs drank the blood of the demon Manaroth, deepening their corruption. As Draenor decayed, the Orcs, facing starvation and internal conflict, were eventually guided by Medivh to invade the plentiful new world of Azeroth. Meanwhile, back on Azeroth, tensions with the Gurubashi tribes and the Kingdom of Stormwind escalated. The humans were victorious with the use of Medivh's uncontrollable power. The Gurubashi's siege on Stormwind ended with King Baratheon's death, and Medivh's dark magic saved the city but haunted him. Returning to Karazhan, Medivh, influenced by Sargeras, focused on the planet of Draenor, revealing himself to the Orcish warlock known as Gul'dan and facilitating the construction of the Dark Portal, a portal that would link the two worlds, allowing the Orcs to cross the barrier. The combined forces of Gul'dan and Medivh allowed the Dark Portal to open, and the Orcs poured into Azeroth, initiating the First War. The Orcish war chief Black Hand led the Horde's assault on Stormwind, which fell after a brutal siege, marking the end of the First War. Orgrim Doomhammer became the new war chief, vowing to cleanse the Horde of fell magic amidst internal turmoil. 4 years after the Dark Portal's opening, the Second War begins. The Alliance of Lordaeron formed with Anduin Lothar as Supreme Commander, leading to the creation of the Order of the Silver Hand. Orgrim Doomhammer
Dude, this
led the
leads up,
Horde into
if I
Khazad-dûm,
remember, I believe
securing
this leads
resources
up
but
to,
facing heavy resistance. The Horde launched a surprise naval invasion, landing in Hillsbrad foothills, while the Alliance, led by Tyrellian and Uther, mounted a
to like
defense. The Horde
lead
captured
up to like
Alexstrasza,
Wrath the Lich
using
King,
it to
if I
create
remember.
dragon servants. Zul'jin, leading the Amani trolls, guided the Horde through the hinterlands. The battle at Hillsbrad foothills was fierce, with the Alliance's paladins playing a crucial role. Despite Orgrim Doomhammer killing Lothar, the Alliance, inspired by his legacy, counterattacked, capturing Orgrim and eventually pushed them back. The Second War would come to an end after the Horde were pushed back to the Black Morass and the Dark Portal was destroyed. The remaining Orc forces scattered across the world and the Alliance celebrated victory, but the war's scars remained. The Alliance focused on rebuilding
Maybe
after
not.
the Second War, and they established internment camps for the remaining Orcs. The demon Kil'jaeden, seeing internal conflict as a flaw, created the Lich King from Ner'zhul to build an undead army. The Lich King, bound to the Frozen Throne, spread a necromantic plague, planning revenge. The human kingdoms began recovering from the Second War. King
I think the
Varian
Second
reigned
War
in
was
Stormwind, and Prince Arthas trained as a paladin in Lordaeron.
around
The Lich King's
going to
conquest
say.
of Northrend faced Nerubian resistance, but ended with total domination of the area. The Lich King went on to corrupt the powerful mage of Lordaeron, Kel'Thuzad, and together they began plotting world domination. At the same time, a young orc named Thrall escaped his gladiator life and founded a new horde, overthrowing internment camps and seeking a new homeland. The alliance was weakened and internment camps closed. The Lich King, exploiting this new alliance disarray, unleashed his plague of undeath. Medivh, appearing as the prophet, warned of a demonic invasion, urging unity between the Horde and the Alliance. In the Kingdom of Lordaeron, the plague of undeath, spread by Kel'Thuzad and his cult of the damned, devastated the population. Despite early efforts by local priests, healing methods
need to play
proved
Warcraft.
ineffective. King Menethil II prioritized the Horde threat over the mysterious plague.
Honestly,
The
I think
plague's
I really,
final
really
stage
need
turned
to.
victims into undead servants of the Lich King, creating an army called the Scourge, which was laying waste to Lordaeron. Medivh tried to warn Lordaeron's citizens about the unstoppable spread of the plague and urged them to flee to Kalimdor to escape the coming chaos. His warnings were largely ignored by key figures like King Menethil II and Archmage Antonidas. However, Medivh found unexpected hope with the orcs, who would play a crucial role in resisting the coming threats. Warchief Thrall, leading the new horde, received a vision from Medivh about a demonic invasion and was advised to journey to Kalimdor. Trusting the elemental spirits that guided him, Thrall set out across the Great Sea in search of a new homeland, despite skepticism from his people. Prince Arthas and sorceress Jaina Proudmoore were sent by King Menethil II to investigate the plague in Lordaeron. They discovered that the plague, spread by Kel'Thuzad, turned victims into the undead. Arthas was then manipulated by the Lich King's dreadlords to confront Mal'Ganis in Stratholme. Upon arriving at Stratholme, Arthas ordered a purge to prevent the spread of undeath. Despite opposition from Uther the Lightbringer and Jaina Proudmoore, his decision led to the mass slaughter of the city's inhabitants, leaving it in ruins.
We do experience
Jaina
that
and
in
Uther parted ways
the
with
dungeon.
Arthas, who was no longer the prince they once knew. The prince's descent into darkness was sealed when he sought out Frostmourne, a cursed rune blade. The Lich King manipulated events to guide Arthas to the blade's location in Northrend.
At the beginning of Battle of the Lich King.
Arthas claimed Frostmourne, killing Muradin in the process, and the blade consumed Arthas' humanity. Embracing the blade's dark power, Arthas became a Death Knight under the Lich King's command. Meanwhile, Thrall and Horde, having seized ships from Southshore, faced a storm that scattered their fleets. They sought refuge on islands in the Great Sea, allied with the Darkspear Trolls, and fought both the Alliance and Murlocs. After repairing their ships, they continued their journey westward to Kalimdor. Arthas, now a Death Knight, returned to Lordaeron and killed his own father, before unleashing the Scourge on the land. The Third War of Azeroth began as the undead overran Lordaeron, with the Alliance forces struggling to fend off the relentless assaults. Arthas' deep knowledge of his homeland and necromantic powers made him a formidable force, leading to the Kingdom of Lordaeron's fall and the rise of a new dark era for the land. During the Third War, the Gnomes contributed advanced weaponry to the Alliance with some few soldiers, raising suspicion. Unknown to the Alliance, Gnomeregan, the gnomish capital, was under siege by Trogs, brutish creatures awakened by the Ironforged dwarves. High Tinker Gelbin Mekatork's defense efforts were insufficient, and the invasion was kept secret to avoid diverting resources from Lordaeron. The world would learn of Gnomeregan's plight and the gnomes' sacrifice later. As the Kingdom of Lordaeron fell, the Burning Legion, led by Archimonde the Defiler, aimed to seize the Second Well of Eternity. Archimonde sought the Book of Medivh to create powerful portals, and the Lich King proposed resurrecting Kel'Thuzad to retrieve it. Prince Arthas was tasked with reanimating Kel'Thuzad as a Lich, using arcane energy from Quel'Thalos' Sunwell. Prince Arthas led the Scourge to Quel'Thalos, finding it empty. King Sunstrider and
Sylvanas before she was
prepared a defense.
Vinci Queen.
Sylvanas fell to Arthas in battle, and he turned her into a banshee. Silvermoon fell, and the elves retreated to the island of Quel'Danas. Prince Arthas used Frostmourne to freeze the sea, defeating King Sunstrider and corrupting the Sunwell, leaving Quel'Thalos in ruin as the Dead Scar. As the Scourge neared Dalaran, Archmage Antonidas and the Kirin Tor braced for battle. Antonidas, haunted by past defeats, sent Jaina Proudmoore to evacuate civilians while he stayed behind. Jaina eventually sailed to Kalimdor with the survivors, seeking safety and hope. Kel'Thuzad revealed that the Lich King planned to rebel against the Legion. In Dalaran, the Scourge faced fierce resistance, but Prince Arthas seized the Book of Medivh. Antonidas fell in battle, and Kel'Thuzad used the book to open a rift, letting demons into Azeroth. Archimonde arrived, destroying Dalaran, and took control of the Scourge. He then prepared Kalimdor for the Legion's invasion. When they landed in Kalimdor,
the second invasion,
Tauren, ending their conflict with the Centaur, and travelled to Stone Talon Peak to meet Jaina Proudmoore. Jaina's forces in Ashenvale were attacked by Gromash Hellscream and his Warsong clan. Thrall, arriving afterward, ordered the Warsong to build an outpost, but their aggression caused friction with the Night Elves by the deforestation. The Night Elves, led by Tyrande Whisperwind, guarded the World Tree Nordrassil, which shielded the Second Well of Eternity. As the Scourge and the Legion advanced, the Night Elves prepared for a renewed defence. Tyrande found refugees from the plague in Ashenvale, but also faced attacks by the Warsong, who recklessly cut down their trees. Tyrande's Sentinel forces engaged the Orcs, joined with Cenarius. Defeated, Gromash drank demon blood, gaining power and becoming the demon Pitlord Manoroth's slave. The Orcs then ravaged Ashenvale, and Gromash defeated Cenarius. With Cenarius dead, Archimonde's invasion of Kalimdor began. His forces faced resistance but continued advancing. Tichondrius used the skull of Gul'dan to corrupt Felwood, aiding the Legion's progress to Mount Hyjal. Tyrande awakened Malfurion Stormrage from the Emerald Dream to fight the corruption. Together they freed Illidan Stormrage from imprisonment, despite objections, and discovered that his release led to the death of his guards. Illidan, seeking power to defeat the Legion, consumed the skull of Gul'dan's power. He killed Tichondrius, hurting the Legion's efforts. Despite this aid, Illidan faced scorn from his brother and Tyrande, and he was banished from the Night Elf lands. Illidan would go on to continue his war against the Legion on his own. 21 years after the events of the Dark Portal, the Legion had reached Mount Hyjal and the Second Well of Eternity. Thousands of Night Elf sentinels, druids, and allied forest spirits assembled at the summit.
The Battle of Mount Hyjal was, I believe, if I remember, it was one of the ways from Burning Crusade. Yeah, we still kind of a little bit in Burning Crusade and on the way over to Ralph actually.
Enchantments to create an explosion that could destroy Archimonde and the Legion at the cost of Night Elf immortality. As the druids prepared Nordrassil's enchantments, the defenders fought fiercely against the legions. Many fell, but their sacrifice bought crucial time. When Archimonde reached Nordrassil, the druids unleashed a powerful wave of energy, destroying him and most of the army, putting an end to the legion's invasion. The surviving defenders pushed back, nearly eradicating the remaining demons and undead in Kalimdor. Prince Arthas narrowly escaped, retreating with the Scourge to the Eastern Kingdoms. The Horde and the Alliance, now temporarily united, left Mount Hyjal in search of new lands. Tyrande and Malfurion began the difficult task of rebuilding Hyjal. Nordrassil was severely damaged, and the Night Elves lost their immortality and disease immunity. Reconnecting with the Emerald Dream became more challenging for the Druids. Medivh, having ensured Azeroth's temporary safety, but could no longer intervene. His mission was complete. The future of Azeroth now rested with its inhabitants. With that, the last Guardian vanished.
As for me, I came back to ensure that there would be a future. To teach the world that it no longer needed guardians. The hope for future generations has always resided in mortal hands.
After the Burning Legion's defeat in the Third War, Kil'jaeden's plans were in jeopardy due to the Lich King's rebellion. The Lich King, seeing an opportunity to break free, turned on his Dreadlord overseas and consolidated control over the Scourge. Kil'jaeden sought a new ally in Illidan Stormrage, who had previously allied with the Legion. Illidan, now a demon with the skull of Gul'dan, was approached by Kil'jaeden, who offered him anything in exchange for destroying the Lich King. Illidan, intent on learning more about the Legion, agreed. He planned to use the Eye of Sargeras, located in the Tomb of Sargeras on the Broken Isles, to strike the Lich King from afar. The Naga, led by Lady Vashj and transformed by the Old Gods, allied with Illidan. Their shared goal was to create global chaos, benefiting both the parties. Illidan and his Naga reached the Broken Isles and secured the Eye of Sargeras.
Well, you mean like Lady Nass, ever since like the summoning happened,
with the artifact in hand,
the Night Elves kind of got close into the Naga base.
Night Elf and Blood Elf force. Retreating to Draenor, now known as Outland, Illidan faced new challenges. Shadowsong then followed him and managed to capture
Nightborn,
him, stripping him of his allies and his artifact. And with this, he struggled to regain control. Back in Kalimdor, Tyrande and Malfurion Stormrage worked on rebuilding Nordrassil, while Kael'thas Sunstrider and his Blood Elves allied with Othmar Garithos and the Alliance to reconstruct Dalaran. Kael'thas, facing magic addiction and Garithos' disdain, aligned with Lady Vashj, who offered him freedom from addiction in exchange for joining Illidan. Kael'thas and Lady Vashj freed Illidan from his prison in Outland. Illidan formed an alliance with the Broken and overthrew Magtheridon to create a new army. Kil'jaeden, displeased with Illidan's actions, demanded his return to Azeroth to defeat the Lich King. Illidan complied, leading an invasion of Azeroth through a newly created portal. As Illidan's forces advanced on Icecrown Citadel, Arthas Menethil prepared for his final confrontation. Despite Illidan's powers, Arthas emerged victorious in an epic battle, and he went on to merge with the Lich King at the Frozen Throne, becoming a formidable new entity. Prince Arthas became the Lich King. In Lordaeron, Sylvanas Windrunner established the Forsaken and took control of the Undercity, the remnants of the city of the fallen Kingdom of Lordaeron, after defeating the Dreadlords. Their focus remained
I need to
on
play
exacting revenge on
Warcraft.
the Lich King. With Arthas merged with the Lich King, Kel'Thuzad
I really,
commanded
really
the
do.
Scourge. The Order of the Silver Hand, led by Alexandros Mograine, faced internal issues due to Dreadlord manipulation, leading to conflicts between the Argent Dawn and the Scarlet Crusade. After the Third War, the Night Elves faced the loss of their immortality due to the damage of the World Tree Nordrassil. Archdruid Fandral Staghelm proposed planting a new tree, Teldrassil, in Darkshore. Malfurion Stormrage opposed this plan, recalling Andrassil's corruption. Fueled by ambition, Fandral ambushed Malfurion, putting him into a coma and trapping his spirit in the Emerald Dream. With Malfurion incapacitated, Fandral proceeded with planting Teldrassil, leading to the creation of Darnassus. However, the Emerald Nightmare began corrupting Teldrassil, and Fandral concealed this corruption amid growing conflict with the Horde and other threats. Warchief Thrall led the Horde to Durotar, found in Orgrimmar. Despite hardships, they strove for redemption. Rexxar, an ex-Beastmaster, joined the Horde, and the Alliance, led by Jaina Proudmoore, established a fragile peace in Theramore Isle. The peace was shattered when Grand Admiral Dalian Proudmoore, Jaina's father, attacked the Horde. Jaina, seeing the need to address the greater threats, allowed Thrall's forces to attack Theramore, leading to her father's, Dalian's, death. The now Queen, Sylvanas Windrunner, and the Forsaken sought refuge, but were rejected by Quel'Thalas and targeted by the Alliance. The Tauren Archdruid, Hamel Rune Totem, facilitated an alliance between the Forsaken and the Horde. Meanwhile, Gnomeregan had fallen to the Trogs, and Sicko Thermoplug's betrayal led to a devastating loss for the Gnomes' forces. Survivors fled to Ironforge, and High Tinker Gelbin Mekatork encouraged Gnomes to support the Alliance rather than reclaim Gnomeregan. During this time, Stormwind became a powerful force, attracting Onyxia's attention. She captured King Varian Rin, who escaped and lost his memory, and then began wandering Kalimdor. With King Varian Rin missing in Kalimdor, his son Anduin was crowned king with Bolvar Fordragon as regent. As chaos spread across Azeroth, ordinary citizens like us rose to confront mounting threats. The Dark Iron Dwarves, enslaved by Ragnaros, sought freedom under Emperor Dagran Thorisan. Following Dagran's death, Moira continued his plans, rallying heroes to challenge Ragnaros and ultimately freeing the Dark Irons. The Horde discovered Moradon, corrupted by Prince Theradris and Zeta, and defeated them, restoring peace in Desolace. Ogre raiders attacked Feralus, driven by Dire Maul's corruption. The Horde discovered that the Emerald Nightmare and the Chandrila elves were behind the chaos and defeated them, forcing the elves into exile. Attention then turned to Blackrock Mountain, where Nefarian sought to create a new chromatic dragonflight. The True Horde, led by Dalrend Blackhand, allied with Nefarian, but their plans were thwarted. The Emerald Nightmare's corruption spread beyond Teldrassil, affecting various regions. Druids from the Cenarian Circle fought back, cleansing the Wailing Caverns and stopping the Atalai Trolls from summoning Hakar in their temple in Swamp of Sorrows. Despite their efforts, corrupted green dragons caused havoc, but the threat was ultimately contained. The Zandalari Trolls sought to help combat the Atalai survival and Hakar's summoning. The Horde intervened in Zul'Gurub, defeating Jindo the Hexer and Hakar. The Twilight Hammer cult, led by Cho'Gall, aimed to release Cthulhu, an old god imprisoned in Ahn'Qiraj. Thrall and Bolvar Fordragon united their forces to combat the threat, defeating Cthulhu and showcasing the power of Azeroth's united heroes. In Lordaeron, the Argent Dawn fought against the remaining remnants of the Scourge, led by Darian Mograine. They sought to free his father's spirit, trapped in the corrupted Ashbringer. Despite their efforts, Darian's soul was condemned. During the battle for Lightsoap Chapel, Darian redeemed his father and saved the chapel, though he and the Ashbringer fell into the Scourge's hands. Despite the Scourge's defeat at Lightsoap Chapel, the Lich King sent his forces to terrorize Azeroth. Bolvar Fordragon led the Alliance heroes in an assault on Naxxramas, defeating Kel'Thuzad and halting the Scourge's invasion.
The next remnants that we deal with in
Dormu, the Aspect of Time, sent heroes Ronin, Corielstraz, and Broxigar.
It's not the original McGrammus.
They joined the Night Elf resistance against the Burning Legion
in
a decisive battle.
It is a way in Wrath of the Lich King, but it was originally a way from Classic.
Vanished into the Time Ways. After the battles in the Molten Core and Ahn'Qiraj, Outland became the battleground for the heroes of Azeroth. Illidan Stormrage, having failed his assault on the Lich King, was rejected by Kil'jaeden. Illidan refocused on Outland to wage war against the Legion. He fortified Hellfire Citadel and infused ores with the blood of the captured Pit Lord Magtheridon to create formidable warriors. To secure resources, Illidan sent Lady Vaj to Zangarmarsh, exploiting the broken Draenei to build the Coilfang Reservoir. Illidan created demon hunters, elves who consumed the demon flesh and bound themselves to demonic entities, aiming to annihilate the
If he created the demon hunters back in Burning Crusade, so that means that they sort of done the demon hunters back in the Burning Crusade instead the Legion? I think Blizzard just didn't have the money to be able to do it at the time. Dude, it'd be like I'm pretty sure at the time, if just like having demon hunters back in Burning Crusade could be like a big game changer at the time. Cause like, I feel like the only like different type of class that kind of got into WoW was I just said like Death Knights. But if Illidan made it the Demon Hunters, where would the Demon Hunters at ever since? If we finally got to play them in Legion. There's probably some type of lore that I am not getting from, but it just makes a lot of sense. It's like, I'm pretty sure that they could have did like Demon Hunters back in Burning Crusade. I'm pretty sure he wasn't even born when Burning Crusade is out. Dude, I'm freaking 27. I was just a little kid when Burning Crusade came out, but still, Legion was my first actual WoW expansion that I actually did get into WoW also. I remember that the Demon Hunters was like the most talk thing around the time because it was a new class. Now, just thinking about it now, it's like, if Illidan made it the Demon Hunters back in like around the time of the Burning Crusade, why did they do that like a long time ago? It's the same thing with like the Invokers, like the Dragon Ways. It's like they've been like the Dragon Ways from Dragon Blight. It's like, I'm kind of curious what their lore was about before the Sunwing and all of this. Like, I know they was in stasis. The people that doesn't know, stasis is like, it's basically like a sleep. They was like in stone, basically asleep for 10,000s of years. But what was the purpose before the War of the Agents or the Sunwing? That's, I kind of want to be, I do want to try to get into that though. We'll probably do that like in another video, if you guys know what I mean. Sorry about that.
Legion's worlds. Kil'jaeden, seeing Illidan as a threat, sent High Lord Krull and a demon army to Outland. Kil'jaeden targeted the damaged
I still got
Sunrise,
money, boy.
manipulating Kael'thas Sunstrider into aiding his plan. Desperate to save his people, Kael'thas became addicted to fell magic and eventually allied with Kil'jaeden. Kael'thas harnessed Tempest Keep's power in the Netherstorm to create mana forges and captured Muru, a Naru, to create the Blood Knights, a new order of paladins. As Kael'thas solidified his power, Illidan faced internal strife with the Karma, who sought allies to liberate the Black Temple. Maiev Shadowsong joined forces with the Karma against Illidan, and despite Akarma's betrayal, Illidan used him rather than kill him. In Hellfire Peninsula, High Lord Krull and his Legion forces fortified their position. Adal and his followers in Shattrath sought allies from Azeroth. They discovered that a wing of Tempest Keep could transport them to Azeroth. Velen led a mission to commandeer the Exodar, which had crashed on Azumist Isle. Despite significant casualties, the Draenei were met by the Night Elves and eventually welcomed by the Alliance. Quel'Thalas faced threats from the Undead and the Trolls, and Sylvanas Windrunner urged the Horde to ally with the Blood Elves. Thrall and Cain Bloodhoof agreed, solidifying this new alliance amongst the Horde despite past conflicts. Kil'jaeden reopened the Dark Portal, sending High Lord Krull and Kazak to create conflict on Azeroth and lure defenders into Outland. The Horde and Alliance responded, establishing strongholds in Hellfire Peninsula and forging new alliances. They continued the fight against the Legion and confronting Illidan Stormrage and his forces. After defeating Magtheridon, the Horde found hope in Nagrand. The Alliance and the Horde then ventured into Zangarmarsh to address the ecological damage caused by the Naga. They successfully assaulted Coilfang Reservoir, defeating the Naga and beginning the region's recovery. Shatrath became a key base for the heroes of Azeroth, with a trade and intelligence flow aiding the fight against Illidan Stormrage. Archmage Khadgar revealed internal rifts within Illidan's ranks, particularly with Kael'thas Sunstrider's betrayal. The siege of the Black Temple commenced, with Illidan facing a desperate situation. Despite strong defences, Illidan sought the Sargerite Keystone to reach Argus. The unified forces of the Horde, Alliance and Shatrath battled through the Black Temple, leading to Illidan's fall. Kael'thas, now allied with Kil'jaeden, invaded the lands of Quel'Thalas and attempted to revive the Sunwell. The Shattered Sun Offensive opposed him, leading to Kael'thas' defeat. With the Demon Lord Kil'jaeden weakened with this offensive, the heroes of Azeroth managed to banish him. Velen purified the Sunwell, restoring the Blood Elves' connection to the magic. Despite the successful joint campaign in Outland, peace between the Horde and the Alliance remained elusive. A summit in Theramore, organised by Jaina Proudmoore, was interrupted by an assassination attempt on King Varian. This worsened relations between the factions, and the resurgence of the Lich King and global attacks by the Scourge further strained this fragile peace. In Northrend, Malygos, the aspect of magic,
and more
saw
ads.
mortal mages as a threat. He aimed to redirect all arcane energy to his lair, the Nexus, and channel it to the Twisting Nether. The Kirin Tor, noticing vanishing arcane power lines, investigated. Malygos' plan threatened Azeroth's slumbering world soul. The Scourge's resurgence spurred both the Alliance and the Horde into action. King Varian Rin dispatched Bolvar Fordragon with the Valiant's expedition to Northrend, and concurrently, Warchief Thrall sent Garrosh Hellscream to lead the Warsong offensive. Despite fierce resistance, both factions established strongholds at the base of Northrend. As the Alliance and the Horde advanced towards Icecrown Citadel, Kel'Thuzad's Naxxramas launched a devastating counterattack. Heroes from both factions assaulted Naxxramas, defeating Kel'Thuzad. This shifted the focus to Icecrown Citadel. Meanwhile, Malygos continued draining Azeroth's magic. The Kirin Tor teleported Dalaran above Northrend and launched an offensive. The Wormrest Accord, led by Alexstrasza, united with mortals to combat Malygos. The battle ended with Malygos' defeat. The leaders of the Horde and the Alliance led campaigns against the Scourge, converging at the Wrathgate. The Lich King unleashed a plague, devastating both factions. Alexstrasza managed to purify the land. They revealed that Forsaken
It wasn't
traitors
the
were
Lich
responsible
King,
for
it was
plague.
the Forsaken.
Thrall and Sylvanas joined forces, while Jaina Proudmoore tried to convince Varian Rin of Sylvanas' innocence. Varian declared
wasn't
war on Thrall, leading to skirmishes between the Alliance
The
and
Lich King
Horde.
had done that. It
The
was
Old God,
Sylvanas,
Yogg-Saron
because
and Ulduar
Sylvanas
plotted for
wanted
revenge,
the
using
Arthas
Keeper Loken
dead.
to build an iron army. A joint Alliance Horde effort confronted Yogg-Saron in the
I
depths
know
of
that.
Ulduar, and the assault on the Titan complex was arduous, but heroes triumphed, eventually defeating the Old God Yogg-Saron. Bran Bronzebeard discovered the Keeper Loken's death had activated a
The Young
titanic
Swan
failsafe,
5 was a little
forge
bit
of origination
tricky, but
designed
we
to
did
cleanse
manage to get
Azeroth
it.
in the case of pure corruption. Algalon the Observer, initially deemed the failsafe necessary, was swayed by the heroes' determination. Algalon allowed the heroes to halt the failsafe process, saving Azeroth. Tyrion Fordring of the Argent Crusade believed a direct assault on Icecrown Citadel would play into the Lich King's strategy. Instead, he proposed a precision strike and established the Argent Tournament to find champions. Heroes from both factions rallied under Tyrion's leadership. The coordinated assault on Icecrown Citadel began with both factions battling through the defences. In the halls of the Citadel, they faced formidable forces. The combined forces of the Horde and the Alliance led to the fall of the Lich King.
Did Invincible drop? I'm sorry, I had to say that.
Father, is it over?
At long last. No king rules forever, my son.
I see. Only darkness before me.
Arthas Menethil had been defeated, and Bolvar Fordragon became the new Lich King to try and contain the Scourge. Despite the defeat of Cthulhu and Yogg-Saron, the old gods were not fully vanquished. N'Zoth, hidden amid Azeroth's strife, empowered Deathwing with dark energies from Deepholm, aiming to instigate the Hour of Twilight, also known as the End of the World, by creating a rift between Deepholm and Azeroth. Deathwing's emergence
We're currently
caused
on this
catastrophic
expansion
natural
right now in the Lord Master
Appointing
chat.
Garrosh Hellscream as acting war chief, Thrall found the world imperiled by the Cataclysm. The Cataclysm shattered Azeroth, resulting in widespread destruction. The Twilight Hammer cult, led by Cho'Gall, spread void corruption, reanimating Nefarian and Siltharia with the void magic to create new dragons. Garrosh Hellscream launched an attack on Gilneas, led by Sylvanas Windrunner, exploiting internal struggles, attacks by the Worgen. King Gen
I think that's when the Worgen was be able to be playable.
His kingdom. The goblins of the Bilgewater cartel fleeing
Pretty
Khazan's
sure that the
eruption
goblins
joined the Horde,
also.
establishing Bilgewater Harbour. The Night Elves, seeking allies, formed an alliance with the Worgen. The alliance, bolstered by the Worgen, repelled Garrosh's assault on Ashenvale. But despite their differences, both factions united to defend Azeroth against Deathwing. Mount Hyjal faced a crisis as Deathwing's forces initiated a ritual to open a rift to the Firelands. The Cenarian Circle, Night Elves, the Horde and the Alliance forces, with the aid of the Wild Gods, repelled the attack. The Twilight's Hammer, under Deathwing's influence, posed a significant threat. A counterattack led to a siege of Grim Batol, defeating Cho'Gall. Deathwing's brief appearance led to a confrontation with Alexstrasza. Thrall and Alexstrasza rallied the Dragon Aspects to reclaim Wyrmrest Temple from Deathwing's
It's supposed to be more an epic
The Dragon
fight,
Aspects
but in the
focused on healing
freaking
Nordrassil, the
cutscene
face
wow,
of
they
the
just
Ragnarok.
like
Despite
slowed like
setbacks,
rolled down the
Azeroth's
mountain.
forces established the Molten Front, ultimately defeating Ragnaros for a second time. To defeat Deathwing, the Dragon Aspects needed the Dragon Soul. With Nozdormu's help, they retrieved it from the past. Thrall wielded it to amplify their power, and despite heavy casualties, they destroyed Deathwing, stopping N'Zoth's plans. The Dragon Aspects sacrificed their powers, leaving the world to the new generation of heroes.
I can feel the elements awakening, rejoicing. The cataclysm is over.
As War Chief Garrosh Hellscream sought aggressive expansion for the Horde, internal conflicts arose within the force. Garrosh's strategy led to the fall of Theramore Isle, where he used a mana bomb to destroy it. Lady Jaina Proudmoore, deeply scarred, became Archmage of the Kirintor, secretly opposing the Horde. Pandaria, hidden in the mists, faced new threats. The Alliance and Horde arrived in the Jade Forest, clashing and ignoring warnings about the destructive Shah. Despite losses, they cooperated to defend Serpent's Heart and halted the Mantid invasion. The Yorngol attacked western Pandaria but were repelled. Anduin Wrynn sought the Veil of Eternal Blossoms, passing trials set by Xian, gaining access to the Veil. Despite significant damage, the heroes vanquished the Shah and secured the Veil. Garrosh established Domination Point. Vol'jin opposed Garrosh's methods, was severely wounded and rescued by Shen Stormstout. Thrall and Vol'jin's allies initiated rebellion. Garrosh sought the Divine Bell, an artifact to drive his armies to victory. Anduin Wrynn neutralized its power, saving many, but was severely injured. Anduin also sought out Rathian, who aimed to unite Azeroth against the Burning Legion by strengthening one faction. The Zandalari trolls sought to restore their empire by reviving Lei Shen,
didn't
the
mean to do
Thunder
that.
King. Alliance and Horde forces united to defeat
My
them.
bad, chap.
Garrosh's Horde discovered the heart of Yasharaj, unleashing the Shah of Pride. The rebellion against Garrosh gained support, leading to the Siege of Orgrimmar. After a brutal battle, Garrosh was defeated and taken away for trial. Vol'jin was appointed the new war chief, but peace remained fragile with the fears of a future Legion invasion. Garrosh Hellscream's trial focused on his crimes, with Tyrande Whisperwind demanding execution and Bane Bloodhoof arguing for imprisonment. The Bronze Dragonflight provided evidence through the Vision of Time, and Sylvanas Windrunner plotted to poison Garrosh, but Anduin Wrynn stopped her plan. Rathian and Keros Dormu facilitated Garrosh's escape, believing he was crucial for the upcoming battle against the Burning Legion. Garrosh betrayed them and recruited orcs from an alternate timeline in Draenor, forming the Iron Horde. The Iron Horde invaded Azeroth through a new dark portal. Alliance and Horde leaders united to repel the invaders, following Garrosh through the portal. They gathered allies in Frostfire Ridge and the Shadowmoon Valley. In Shadowmoon Valley, Velant and Yrel faced the Iron Horde's assault. Velen sacrificed himself to neutralize the Dark Star, restoring hope to the Draenei. In Frostfire Ridge, Thrall joined the Frostwolf clan. In Talador, Khadgar and Cordana Fellsong stopped Gul'dan's plans to summon the Burning Legion. They reclaimed Shatrath from Warlord Blackhand's Iron Fleet. Allied with the outcast Arakoa leader Iskar, the heroes defeated High Sage Virex and established a new order in the Spies of Arak. In Nagrand, Thrall confronted and defeated Garrosh in Amak-Gorah. The Alliance infiltrated Highmoor, defeating Kargath Bladefist and Cho'Gall. Gul'dan created the Fell Horde, prompting Khadgar to urge an invasion of the Tanaan jungle. The champions established a fleet and allied with the Arakoa enemies, ultimately defeating Kilrog Deadeye and rescuing Gromash. At Hellfire Citadel's peak, the champions faced Gul'dan, who summoned Manaroth. After defeating Manaroth, they confronted Archimonde. With Gromash's help, they defeated Archimonde, though Gul'dan escaped. Gromash sought atonement and offered to help rebuild Draenor. Yrel and Durotan agreed to work together for Draenor's recovery.
And we'll lead up to the expensive Legion.
The Burning Legion's threat resurfaced on Azeroth as Gul'dan, under Kil'jaeden's influence, infiltrated the Tomb of Sargeras to open a portal to the Twisting Nether, unleashing demons onto the Broken Shore. The ensuing battle was disastrous.
This is when I kind of got into WoW chat.
And Warchief Vol'jin appointing Sylvanas Windrunner as his successor before his death.
Do not let the Horde die this day.
For the Alliance.
Sad that Vilnian died. A lot of main killers died in Legion.
Gul'dan retrieved Illidan Stormrage's body from the vault of the Wardens, aiming to use it as a vessel for Sargeras. Despite Maiev and the Wardens' efforts, the demons invaded. Sylvanas reorganized the Horde, integrating the Illidari, while Prince Anduin Wrynn prepared to lead the alliance. The Kirin Tor, led by Khadgar, united both factions against the Legion, relocating Dalaran to the Broken Isles. Champions sought the Pillars of Creation across Azeroth, retrieving the Tidestone of Golganath, the Hammer of Khaz'Goroth, and the Aegis of Agramar from their respective locations. In Val-Shara, they secured the Tears of Elune despite heavy losses, including Ysera. Thalyssra led a rebellion against Gul'dan and Elisande in Suramar, reclaiming the city and reviving Illidan, who destroyed Gul'dan. With the Pillars of Creation, Azeroth's champions retook the Broken Shore, placing the pillars and clearing the Tomb of Sargeras of demonic forces. They pursued Kil'jaeden to the Twisting Nether and defeated him. Azeroth's forces launched an assault on Argus, where they faced Legion forces. The champions, aided by the Pantheon, defeated Argus the Unmaker and freed the Titans. Illidan ensured Sargeras' imprisonment as the Pantheon captured him. Sargeras, in a final act, stabbed Azeroth with his sword, wounding the planet. Magni Bronzebeard and the champions used legendary artifacts to stem the flow of corruption from Sargeras' sword, but the wound still needed healing, leaving Azeroth's future uncertain.
And we never really knew anything about the sword until literally the War Within. Literally from BFA, Shadowlands, Dragonfly, and then the War Within.
After the Legion's defeat, Azeroth's world soul was at risk from Sargeras' final act of stabbing the world. Trade Prince Jaster
Sylvanas became
a powerful new material. War Chief Sylvanas sought to exploit it, leading to increased tensions with the Alliance. The Horde's attack on Darnassus and the burning of Teldrassil
to be honest.
The Fourth War. The Alliance retaliated by planning an assault on the Undercity. During the battle, Saurfang hesitated to kill Anduin, aiding the Alliance. Sylvanas ultimately retreated, leaving the Undercity unclaimed. To secure victory, Jaina Proudmoore returned to her homeland called Tiras to persuade her people to rejoin the Alliance. She faced hostility but eventually secured their support by exposing corruption and piracy within their ranks. Meanwhile, the Horde sought to gain Xandalar's support facing opposition from King Rastakhan's advisors. Talanji, seeking the Horde's aid, confronted threats from blood trolls, the faithless Sethrak, and the Prophet Zul. Zul's betrayal aligned with Gahun, leading to his defeat and the release of Gahun. Alliance and Horde champions ventured into Uldia to confront Gahun, securing Zandalar's golden fleet for the Horde. The Alliance launched an assault on Zandalar, resulting in Rastakhan's defeat and Talanji's vow for revenge. The Horde infiltrated Kultiras, rescuing Talanji and Zul. The rise of Ajara trapped the Alliance and the Horde fleets, leading to a confrontation in the Eternal Palace. The heroes defeated Ajara, but inadvertently freed N'Zoth. Anduin and Saurfang united against Sylvanas, who defeated Saurfang in Amak-Gorah and abandoned the Horde.
You are all nothing!
That was a mistake.
If you could see yourselves as I see you. Toy soldiers in tin plate. Beasts who howl for honor. Standing as one. Savor it. Nothing lasts.
He's off to Northwind.
N'Zoth posed a dire threat, leading Alliance and Horde leaders to plan an assault on Ny'alotha. Heroes cleansed the Forge of void corruption and defeated N'Zoth's minions, destroying him and freeing
Well, we
Azeroth
don't
from
really
Ny'alotha's
see
corruption.
Sylvanas
After
till
N'Zoth's defeat,
Cellens
Callistus ended
is
the Fourth War.
cinematic.
Tyrande rejected the peace, seeking vengeance on Sylvanas. In Orgrimmar, Horde leaders abolished the position of War Chief, deciding to govern as a council instead. For the first time in years, Azeroth was at peace. After the Fourth War, the fragile peace was tested as both factions sought out Sylvanas Windrunner. The Horde Council faced an assassination attempt on Queen Talanji of the Zandalari, which was stopped by Zikan. Investigations revealed Sylvanas' forces supported rebels to weaken Bonsamdi's influence. With the Horde's help, Talanji defeated the rebels and reaffirmed Zandalar's loyalty to the Horde. Sylvanas defeated Bolvar Foredragon at Icecrown Citadel and shattered the Helm of Domination, breaking the barrier between life and death, and essentially revealing the Maw in the Shadowlands. The Jailer, once the Arbiter, sought to unify death against a cosmic threat. Stripped of power, he gathered allies like Sylvanas to remake reality. With the Helm of Domination destroyed, the uncontrolled Scourge ravaged through Azeroth, and the Jailer's Moorsworn kidnapped Anduin, Jaina, Bane, and Thrall. Bolvar summoned champions to rescue them,
say there was-
and they freed Jaina and Thrall, whilst learning of
It
the
was
Jailer's
alright,
plans.
but no
In
matter,
Holyhouse,
it's like
the champions learned the flow of souls to the more
the
threatened
Settlements
Shadowlands.
was
Sent
alright.
to
I did
Bastion,
play a
they
little bit
discovered
of the
Forsworn's
expansion, but
betrayal
no matter, we
and
didn't really
alliance
have
with the
nothing
Jailer.
else to do
The
because
champions
COVID
helped
hit
uncover the
around this
Forsworn's
time.
plot. They gained allies and empowered a Runeblade to unlock the seat of the Primus. In Maldraxxus, the champions, guided by Drakkar, uncovered treachery, empowered runes, and learned of Kel'Thuzad's alliance with the Jailer. In Ardenweald,
We
the
did see
champions
a lot of
helped build the Queen
returning
Savisera's wild sword and discovered
characters,
the dire state of the heart of the forest.
like
They
big
sought
name
aid from
characters
Revendreth.
returning
In Revendreth, they
Shadowlands.
discovered Sire Denathrius' treachery and joined Prince Renathal to fight him. Despite their efforts, Denathrius revealed the plan to free the Jailer. The Eternal Ones called for unity. Champions joined covenants to empower realms and rescue souls from the Maw, restoring anima flow. They defeated the blighted Drust in Ardenweald, securing the forest. In Bastion, the champions defeated the Forsworn leader Devos and restored peace, and Uther sought redemption. In Revendreth, the champions defeated Denathrius, imprisoning his essence in a sword. They helped Drakkar rally Maldraxxus' forces, uncovering Kel'Thuzad's plans. The champions rescued Bane Bloodhoof and other leaders from the Maw, learning of the Jailer's next move. The Jailer aimed to secure 5 sigils to open the sepulchre of the first ones. Anduin, now dominated by the Jailer, stole the Archon sigil. The Primus suggested attacking the eastern side of the Maw. Drakkar, Thrall, and Alexandros Mograine and other forces joined the battle. They managed to banish Helya and killed Vyraz, appointing Drakkar as Margrave of the House of the Chosen. Oribus, poorly defended, faced a Moorsworn attack, Bolvar led an assault on Torghast, and the champions fought through the Jailer's forces, encountering Garrosh Hellscream, who sacrificed himself. At the tower's peak, they defeated Sylvanas Windrunner, but the Jailer took the Arbiter's Sigil and opened the portal to Zereth Mortis. With the Primus returned, he assisted each Covenant in forging new sigils. Maldraxxus, Revendreth, Bastion and Ardenweald reforged all their sigils, preparing for the final battle. In Zereth Mortis, the champions gained allies and faced the Morsworn, establishing a connection between Zereth Mortis and Oribus. Despite their
armor is
efforts,
so
Anduin,
badass.
under the Jailer's control, disabled the Forge of Afterlife's defences. Uther helped Sylvanas reconcile with her fragmented soul, and she aided in freeing Anduin from the Jailer's control. Freed from the domination, Anduin provided valuable
It's just a little weird that Sylvanas been so evil throughout this time. All of the fuck up things. I'm surprised that he didn't even cover that he literally committed genocide from all of the freaking Night Elves from burning down Tessacea in the Battle of Dark Soul and everything, and then literally the next expansion, she's like, they basically had like a character redemption change, basically that she's good now. Yeah, no matter, like, I do understand, like, she was trying to get power, like, the power was getting to her because she was working with the Jailer, and no matter. Yes, I do know that in that cutscene, the Jailer did betray Sylvanas, and she kind of like, oh, I did not know that you was just going to betray me like that. Okay then, and then she's decided to become a good guy now. Interesting. It's kind of like a little bit of a, like, the most questionable storyline takes that they actually decided to do to Sylvanas, to be saying.
insight. The Primus forged the Crown of Wills to counter the Jailer's powers. Pelagos became the new Arbiter, restoring balance to the Shadowlands. Champions confronted the Jailer at the Sepulchre, who siphoned Azeroth's life force. In a desperate battle, they destroyed the Jailer, who revealed his actions aimed to prevent a cosmic threat. With his defeat, balance was restored. Pelagos judged Sylvanas, sentencing her to return souls from the Maw. Anduin appointed Turelion as Stormwind's regent, seeking redemption, and Azeroth entered a new era of healing. In the 40th year after the Dark Portal, the Dragon Isles reappeared, awakening the Drakthir, Dragonkin soldiers created by Deathwing. These evokers, wielding powers of all 5 dragonflights, had been put into a stasis by Deathwing. Upon awakening, they freed their leaders, Scale Commander Emberthal and Scale Commander Sarkareth. The Primalists invaded the Forbidden Reach to free the Storm Eater, forcing the Drakthir to evacuate. Many joined the Horde and the Alliance, while Sarkareth and the Ebon Scales pursued their own path, disillusioned with the dragon aspects. The Alliance and the Horde launched a joint expedition to the Dragon Isles, aiding Dragonflights in reactivating their dormant Oathstones. Alexstrasza defeated the Ruby Life Shrine with the help from Rathian, who, along with Sibelian, reclaimed the Obsidian Citadel. On the Onaran Plains, Merithra and the Green Dragonflight restored their Oathstone, while Kalagos, aided by Khadgar and the Iskara Tusker, revived the ley lines in the Azure Span, restoring the Blue Dragonflight's Oathstone. In Valdrakken, Alexstrasza, Kalagos and Nosdormu discovered the Primalist infiltrators and restored the Bronze Dragonflight's Oathstone. The Iskara Tusker united tribes and reopened trade to the Uktalit tribe. Archaeologists in Thaldraszus discovered the Titan Keeper's Tyr's experiments. Alexstrasza, Kalagos and Nosdormu reactivated Tyrhold's forge, but needed to recover Tyr's memories to restore him fully. At the Ancient Bow, Ysera returned from the Shadowlands to defend the Emerald Dream. Her daughter Merithra became the new Green Dragonfly aspect. With all the Oathstones restored, Razagath interrupted Alexstrasza's empowerment of the Mother Oathstone, leading to her defeat, but not before releasing the other 3 Primal Incarnates. Iridikron, Viranoth and Fyrak returned to the Forbidden Reach to avenge Razagath's death and seek Neltharian's secrets. The Drakthir, led by Amberthal and Abyssian, confronted Zarkarath and his Sundered Flame faction. Fyrakk opened a tunnel to the Zaralek caverns to access Aberrus, Neltharion's hidden lab. Abyssian, Rathian, and Sibelian heard whispers reminiscent of the old gods. Fyrakk infused himself with the Shadow Flame and assaulted the Onaran Plains and the Azure Span. Emberthol destroyed the Oathbinder to prevent Zarkarath from subjugating the Drakthir. Rathion, Sibelian, and their allies entered Aberrus, facing Neltharion's failed experiment. Zarkarath infused himself with void magic but was defeated. Rathian and Sibelian set aside their differences, electing Abyssian as the new aspect of the Black Dragonflight. Iridikron allied with the Infinite Dragonflight, causing time instability. Soridormi and Chromie worked to close time rifts and deal with alternate versions of themselves. Chromie travelled to the past, stopping Iridikron from acquiring Galakrond's essence and preventing Nosdormu's corruption.
We do event these
Fyrakk sought to access the Emerald Dream, abducting Gerithus and recruiting the
time
Druids of the
visions
Flame.
and
Virinoth warned
Cataclysm.
Alexstrasza of Fyrakk's true goal and joined her against him. Emberthor united the Drakthir, reforming the Sundered Flame into the Ebon Scales. Chromie and Eternus located a stolen Titan disc in the past, discovering it was given to Elisanda of Suramar, and Tyr's guard was rebuilt to protect Tyr's body. Fyrakk breached the Emerald Dream, and Marithra and Tyrande and their allies defended against his invasion. Virinoth recruited allies, including the Netherwing Dragonflight and Storm Dragons. Despite heavy losses, Alexstrasza summoned reinforcements. They managed to defeat Fyrakk and his forces, preventing his plans to consume Azeroth in flames. Yggdrasil bloomed into the physical world, empowering the aspects with new powers, aiding Virinoth as the sixth aspect. Travad and Tyr's guard retrieved the Titan disc from Elisanda in the past, and Tyr was revived in the present. Reunited with Alexstrasza and Nosdormu, Tyr learned about the modern world, and Tyr's guard helped him find a new purpose. The Dragonflight and Azeroth's heroes celebrated their victory beneath Yggdrasil. Tyrande planned to settle her people at the New World Tree. Jaina and Thrall experienced strange visions, and Khadgar expressed concerns about the mysterious Harbinger. Ysera fulfilled her vow and returned to the Shadowlands. With the Dragon Isle safe, the aspects gathered at Valdrakken to thank their mortal allies. Caligos informed Khadgar of his decision to step down from the Council of Six to focus on leading the Blue Dragonflight. Rathian planned to leave the Isles to hunt Iridikron, while Virinoth, representing the Netherwing, and the Thorignir as the aspect of storms, revealed a warning from Iridikron about his intent to defeat the Titans with the Harbinger.
You know the Titans infected our world, and I will see them extinguished. The question is, sister, will you?
At Yggdrasil, the Night Elves settled, with their new capital, Bel Ameth. Tyrande reunited with Malfurion, and they encouraged their daughter, Chandra's Feathermoon, to lead their people. Gen Greymane led his people to reclaim Gilneas.
God, there's so much spoilers, Chan. I haven't even got to.
After defeating the Crusade, Gen abdicated the throne to his daughter.
Dragonblight. I haven't even played it yet.
This kingdom
Basic.
now belongs to you.
Father, I...
You have always been what makes Gilneas truly special to me.
Alarmed by increasing reports of strange visions known as the Radiant Song, Khadgar asks Alleria Windrunner, the first Void Elf, to investigate the Harbinger and uncover the purpose of the Dark Heart. Alleria travels to Telegross Rift, home of the Void Elves, and finds evidence of Void activity across Azeroth. While searching for a missing Void Elf scout, the Harbinger whispers to her, taunting her with visions of the past. She returns to Telegross Rift to find it under attack by void creatures, but her mentor, Locust Walker, banishes them. Locust Walker reveals that the Harbinger is Xalatath, an ancient void entity once allied with the old gods and previously trapped within a dagger. He suggests that the Radiant Song is a warning from Azeroth itself, and that Xalatath aims to summon the Void Lords to consume Azeroth.
The radiant visions you spoke of are the very same my people had before our world was consumed by the Void Lord Dimensius.
Could Xalatath be seeking that same fate for Azeroth?
You must find a way to stop her. If you cannot, then Azeroth is already doomed.
As we prepare to explore the newly discovered subterranean realm of Kaz-Algar, within Azeroth, this underground expanse illuminated by a central crystal reveals previously unexplored zones, including the dark depths of the Nerubian Empire and the radiant underground region of the Arathi. The story appears to come full circle. From the introduction of the Void Lords and their quest to torment slumbering world souls, we now approach what seems to be Azeroth's climax, as the dark forces of the Void attempt to corrupt its world soul.
Who is it, Thrall? Who's calling out to us?
I'm not sure yet. But that sword was aimed at someone.
Scaris knew it all along. That's actually kind of crazy to think about now. That is so fucking crazy to think about now, actually. Holy shit, what a video. Dude, oh my god. There was so much, chat, it's crazy. I do know a little bit of some spoilers for The War Within. Unfortunately, that whoever that new entity did kill K-Guard and literally did destroyed Darwin. I do know that, but holy shit, Jack. Yes, there was a lot of stuff that I feel like he did miss, but he basically did basically just say the summary. Basically, I guess he just decided to stay away from the Battle of Dark Soul, because I did hold like the Battle of Dark Soul event. I actually heard that it fucking sucked. But yeah, whenever we got into the Dragon Blade, I was kind of like a little bit in the gray, to be honest. Gonna be straight honest with y'all, but that was the history of the World of Warcraft that was expended in 1 hour. I'm pretty sure like if we had like every single bit of it, we could have been here like all day. But that was it, chat. That was it.